Hello guys, and welcome back to yet another video. Today we have got our joint early championship predictions. It's a big one, guys, so we could do with your support. Make sure straight away to hit the like button. Let's go for 3,000 likes on this one, and if you've not already subscribed, then help us push to 102,000. We're doing our early predictions this week. We've got our early Premier League predictions coming as well, and like I say, it's a joint effort. Do take these with a pinch of salt, all right? I can already see some of you in the comments saying it's too early for this. Well, don't watch it if that's how you feel.
Yeah.
We're basically guessing what we think is going to happen next season, but we're also guessing what's going to happen in the summer transfer window, because there's so much to go on before the season actually starts. So it is quite a fun way of doing it. And we do have our official predictions, of course, coming closer to when the season starts. Sophie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. I'm interested to see where you've got certain teams, to be honest, because I feel like we might disagree on a couple.
Well, like I say, it's a joint effort, so let's get the tier list up. Here it is in front of you guys. This is the championship lineup for next season. Look at this lineup, Sophie. Southampton, Wrexham and Leicester all in the same division. Crazy scenes. Obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. You've got the top 6, top 12, mid-table, 18th to 21st, and the bottom 3. And look, please share your predictions in the comments. Instead of going, oh, I don't like your prediction, if you disagree, just let me know your prediction instead. All right, let's try and be fair in the comments. Sophie, let's go at a random order.
Okay.
Norwich, where do you reckon?
Top 12.
I think they're going to push for the playoffs, yeah. I mean, they finished 13th last year, and surely it's got to be better. Now, they are currently linked with Liam Manning, who of course got Bristol City into the playoffs, and I don't necessarily think they'll hold on to both Sargent and Signs, but they'll still be good enough to push for the top 6.
Yeah, they seem to get good replacements, to be honest. So I feel like if one of them was to go, possibly more Signs, I feel like they could replace him more. Sargent has done it over seasons now, where he's just so good that obviously multiple clubs will be looking at him. But if they can keep hold of him, I think, yeah, top 6 finish, especially if they get Manning in as well. They could push for top 6, but I feel like they might just fall short, just because I do feel like there's some stronger teams, to be honest.
Okay, Blackburn Rovers. I'm thinking mid-table.
Mid-table, I think, to be honest.
The thing is, I think I've been guilty over recent seasons of underestimating them. And even though you could maybe make an argument that they might be down in the bottom half somewhere, I still think mid-table's a relatively fair prediction at this point. Eustace was massive for them, and I do rate Ismail, but I preferred Eustace. Yeah. But I still think they're solid enough to be at least away from trouble, if not maybe near the playoff race. Yeah,
that's why I feel like they're just going to land around mid-table come the end of the season.
Yeah, okay. Let's do Preston, Sophie. Preston's a funny one, isn't it? Because they only just survived last season. Yeah. And I have seen some people's early thoughts for them next season where they're like, oh, I'm worried for them. I still think they're solid enough to at least stay up at a minimum.
Yeah, I think they'll stay up, but I think between 18th to 21st, maximum mid-table. I don't see any higher than that.
I think I'll agree with that. I think, look, it feels too easy to me to just say, oh, well, they nearly went down last year, so
they'll go down.
Yeah, I just think Paul Heckingbottom as well.
Yeah.
Some managers coming into this season are going to be untested in the Championship, some of them coming from overseas. I like Paul Heckingbottom because he's done it before. He's a safe pair of hands. At a minimum, they'll stay up. Yeah,
I agree. Right now, we don't know what's going to happen in the summer window. They might have a great summer window, add some additions, but I don't see that happening. So right now, 18th to 21st now.
Right, let's do Swansea, Sophie. Where do we reckon? I mean, I'm thinking maybe mid-table. Now, with Sheehan in the second half of the season, they did make a push for the playoffs towards the end. It was just a bit too late. So maybe
either top 12, like literally 12th, or mid-table. Like 13th or 12th for me.
I think you're right.
They finished last season very strong. If they can continue that into next season, I know it's a completely different season. Stick at top 12 at the moment.
All right, let's go top 12 at the moment.
And then if we feel like they need to drop down by 1,
we might need to rejig it as we go along. But I think Swansea, I expect similar to last season. Yeah. Solid team, decent foundations. They could push for the playoffs. Not necessarily for me that they'll make it, but they can push for it.
Yeah.
Right. So let's do Ipswich.
Ipswich top 6. Gotta be, surely.
And I think we're both in agreement, top 2.
Yes, yeah, I think automatics for them. And I know a lot of people say, oh, but they're losing Delap and he was a very, very good front man, but they're going to be getting, near enough 30 mil for him.
Yeah.
So they can reinvest that across the pitch, to be honest. It doesn't need to be 30 mil on a striker. They can distribute that in different areas. And I just feel like they're pretty solid. I really like the manager as well, Kieran McKenna, and I think he does a great job there.
I was about to say, the most important person for them to hold on to is
Manager.
McKenna.
Agree.
So we're saying top 2, actually, Ipswich.
Yeah.
Top 1?
I don't want to give that away yet. We'll just say top 2.
Yeah, I know there's a long way to go now, but they've got to be one of the strong favourites to win the league.
Yeah.
With Southampton changing manager, Leicester points deduction chaos. I like Ipswich. I like their chances. Share your thoughts. And lots of good Championship experience, I will say. We saw that in the FA Cup against them. Right, let's go with Sheffield United.
Top 6, surely.
And I'm going to say it right now. Ipswich and Sheffield United are my top 2.
So top 2 for me is a toss-up between Sheffield United and Southampton. I'm pretty sure Ipswich will finish in the top 2, but I'm not sure who will take second place. Yeah,
I think Sheffield United, so long as they don't do anything stupid, because I know some people have said, "Oh, Wilder's got to go." Why? They got 90. They got 90 points. Why does he have to go?
I don't think he will. Surely not. That would be daft.
I don't think so. Now, obviously, I do expect them to lose Gustavo Hamer. However, they've still got enough Championship experience there to rack up another 90 points, and maybe this time that'll be enough. So there you go. Right, Sophie, Charlton.
Bottom 3. I know this is an easy cop out to just go, they've came up and they've come up through the playoffs, so they'll be bottom of the league. But I mean, look at Oxford last season, they managed to stay up. But just right now, I'm looking at that squad and I'm looking at these teams and I'm thinking, surely that's bottom 3.
It does feel like Charlton will have to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
A bit like Oxford did last season, a bit like I suppose Derby did, just so you can steer clear of trouble and buy yourself a bit of time. Now they have got Matty Godden, who we both rate. Nathan Jones did an incredible job there. However, he is currently linked with the Cardiff job. Obviously Cardiff in League One, but obviously a nice big club for League One level. I suppose we'll wait and see. In terms of budgets, they're going to be at the lower end. But you never know. All 3 newly promoted teams stayed up last season. Maybe all 3 newly promoted teams will stay up this season. But I do have a feeling Charlton will be scrapping. Yeah. So share your thoughts, Charlton fans. I'd like you to stay up though, and hopefully we'll be able to go to the Valley next season. Sophie, Oxford United. I'm going to say
staying up.
I think they stay up.
I don't know. I had them to go down last season and then they did stay up, but I think they're going to be around that bottom 3.
Look, what I will say is I think they're going to have to fight again. I don't necessarily think they're going to be in the playoff race or something, but Gary Rowett, so long as they back him, I think they have a chance. And look, it's going to be close down here.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I mean, obviously Oxford United made us look silly with our predictions last season.
Yeah.
But do we now overcompensate and back them to stay up this season and then they go down? Because that's actually what happened with Plymouth. In their first season, we backed them to go down, they stayed up. We backed them to then stay up again, and they went down. I'm going to have it. Oxford are staying up. Gary Rowett.
I'm leaning more towards going down.
Oh, well, I'm overruling you on this.
Right.
Sorry.
I thought it was a joint thing, but alright.
Well, it is a joint thing. Maybe you can have a bit more. Do you know what? 21st, we'll say. 21st.
Okay.
They're just surviving. Oxford fans, share your thoughts. Right, Sophie, go on. Take the lead on West Brom.
West Brom, top 12. I think they've got to be challenging for the top 6 again. But I don't know, it could be a really tricky one, to be honest.
In front of these two.
Yeah, because last season, obviously, they started the season with Carlos Corberán, so you thought, okay, great manager, he gets the best out of an alright squad sometimes. And you think, okay, with him, they could challenge for top 6. Obviously, they don't have him anymore. But I don't know, I always fancy them to finish around the top 6 and challenging for it, but I think they're going to fall short again.
They're going to be there or thereabouts. Obviously, the managerial situation, they are currently in talks with Ryan Mason. We'll see what comes of that. But it's no Carlos Corberán, is it? They've got a good team though, haven't they? So they've got to be sniffing, and they've got decent resources, a decent fan base behind them. I don't feel like I've ever seen West Brom ever finish in the bottom half of the Championship. They're always at the top end or in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So they'll be there or thereabouts. Sophie, Middlesbrough. I think top 12.
Top 12 again?
Yeah, they've got to be sniffing around the playoffs.
Yeah, so I'd probably have them in front of West Brom. I know a lot of the fans will say, like, oh, we need to get rid of Carrick if we actually want to, finish in the playoffs, but actually do something whilst you're in the playoffs, because obviously massive club, good fan base as well. You want to be pushing for a playoff space minimum. But, I don't know, I just feel like they might fall short again, to be honest.
Do you think Michael Carrick is the answer?
Not really.
No.
But then I don't know who else they could get in, to be honest. So it's easy to say, oh yeah, get rid of Carrick. But then you need a good replacement to bring in and actually improve on what they've got going on at the moment. Can I think of any managers that are free that could improve on what Michael Carrick's doing? Right now, no. So you might as well stick with him. Don't know if anyone disagrees. If there's a manager out there that's free, feel free to comment, but I can't think of any.
There's managers watching this commenting right now.
No, not like put your CV in. I just mean like any suggestions.
Right, let's have a look at Stoke City with Mark Robins.
I feel like we're going to disagree here.
I personally, 18th to 21st. Now, I know the other day you said you don't fancy their chances much next season, but
not really.
I mean,
right now I don't know what's going to go on in the summer, and I know they've got Robins, and obviously as Coventry City fans we massively rate Robins because of what he's done at our club, but notoriously he's not got the best track record at other clubs.
And he needs to start the season well.
And he doesn't usually do that. So for me, possibly bottom 3. I know I'll get some stick for that. But what, you think Oxford United could stay up over Stoke?
I think they could both stay up.
Well, who's going down then?
Should we come back to this? The relegation
Go on, yes. Stick them in 18th to 21st at the moment.
Yeah, the relegation battle's going to be fierce because there isn't really many favourites to go down.
No. One thing I will say is, if you look at those like bottom teams that we've got at the moment, who has like the most pull for players? And I think it's Stoke.
Yeah.
Certain players who want to go there over Oxford United, Charlton, probably even Preston, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I think could work for them in the summer window, to be honest.
Exactly. Right. Pompey. Mid-table, I reckon.
Possibly.
Do you know
what was working from last season was their home form, and I think if they can improve on their away form a little bit more, then yeah, mid-table.
I think there's real cause to say Portsmouth could push on next season. It could flip the other way, I suppose, but so long as Fratton Park remains a fortress, and they've got camaraderie and continuity with Mousinho, it's one of those classic, oh hang on, look at these, they're on the rise, and they're doing it gradually, which I think is quite good. So mid-table, maybe top half, but I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I'd say mid-table.
And you know, bear in mind at the start of last season they had a hideous run of fixtures, they had injuries, maybe this time it'd be nicer. Sophie, Birmingham City.
See, for me, I'd say mid-table.
No,
I do feel like some people are saying, oh, Birmingham, like, look at how they absolutely smashed League One, they're going to now smash the Championship. I mean, completely different leagues, to be honest. And the one thing I think that will work for them is everyone's going, oh, they spent a lot of money up the top. Their defence is pretty good, to be honest. And if they can keep that going in the Championship, then they should be all right. Well, I don't know. If they spend big, like it's forecast, then possibly top 12. But right now, for me, mid-table.
I'm saying top 6.
Top 6?
Top 6.
No,
because,
come on.
No, because Sophie, they got 111 points last season.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous, by the way. They play a certain style of football, which I think is going to work in the Championship. I think Chris Davies is a really good up-and-coming manager. The players that impressed me last season, Clara, the defender, Stansfield. I mean, he might not be as prolific as some people say.
He got the goals though, didn't he?
Exactly. I think Birmingham City are going to make a promotion push. And I think it's going to, genuinely, St Andrews is going to be sold out every week. I think some teams are going to struggle when they go there.
No, I agree with that.
And I think top 6. I'm surprised we're so different on this. I mean, to be honest...
I might be completely in agreement with you come the end of the summer transfer window, but right now I do feel like they need to add more Championship quality players. But I think the team they've got right now, mid-table, top 12.
No.
Not top 6 right now.
No,
not top 6 right now.
Oh, right. Let's meet in the middle for now.
Top 12 then.
I'm saying top 6, so if you say mid-table, let's put them there. But we're going to come back to this.
Yeah, but look, Norwich. You think they'll finish above Norwich?
They've got more going for them than Birmingham at the moment, I think.
I know they're on like a better trajectory right now, and I do think that they needed that relegation to rebuild and push on.
They've got resources.
Yeah, they have, to be fair, and they've got managers that want to. Well, they've got owners that actually want to invest in the club to take it onwards and upwards. But
yeah, right. We better speed up a little bit. Watford, I think
they might struggle a bit. Mid-table, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe this category about there.
Possibly.
So 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, that's maybe fair. I mean, Watford did surprise us last season because they've obviously got off to a good start. Cleverly's gone. Paolo Pezzolano now comes in, which we don't know a massive amount about.
No.
So we wish them good luck. We think they'll stay up. It might be too easy to say, oh, they'll go down. But maybe they'll be mid/bottom half. Let's do Millwall. I think top 12.
Yeah, top 12. That's kind of typical Millwall, really now, isn't it?
I think. Should we go there? Let's go there. I think Millwall can make a push for the playoffs. Look how good they were at the second half of last season. Yeah. Alex Neil. And I tell you what, if you look at this, Sophie, one surprise team is going to get in there. It could be Millwall this year.
Yeah, I think they'll be pushing for it, to be honest. They're always pretty solid in the Championship, so I think it's a pretty safe bet to stick them in top 12.
Hull City.
Possibly bottom 3, to be honest.
I'm thinking it could go anyway. Because
either 18th to 21st or bottom 3.
The thing is with Hull, Sophie, is they're a bit erratic.
Yeah.
They finished 7th the season before last, and then they've just finished 21st. Now, they've brought in a new manager,
again,
Jakirovic, and they could be like right up there chasing for the playoffs, but they could also go down because we don't really know what to expect. I think when a team's a bit erratic, it makes me nervous.
Yes.
And I'm not sure who I think's going down right now, so I might sling them in my bottom 3.
Yeah, it might feel a bit harsh because every time there's a transfer window, I always think they're pretty solid. But then recently, it hasn't worked out. I look at some of the quality players they're bringing in, but it just doesn't seem to work out. It doesn't seem to click. So could this be the season that they then go down? Possibly.
Maybe. We don't want it, Hull fans, but we've got to pick 3 to go down. Yeah. It's really difficult predicting this relegation battle. Leicester City, Sophie. Now, this one's going to divide opinion, whatever we do. Because if we put them in the top 6, some people say, no chance. And if you don't put them in the top 6, some people say, no, they will make it.
Yeah.
I am of the opinion that even despite a points deduction and chaos, they'll make the top 6. Yeah. I suppose it depends on what the points deduction is. If it's anything more than 12 points, that might make me a little bit worried. But I trust that they're going to get a good manager. I don't know who it's going to be right now.
They're linked with Russell Martin at the moment. So.
Well, they believe that's fallen through. And I saw some Leicester fans are quite happy that that's not working out. I'm going to say playoffs. What are you saying?
Yeah, playoffs as well, to be honest. Again, it is dependent on the points deduction situation. We don't know how many they're going to get. We don't know if they're definitely going to get a points deduction. But I don't know. There's going to be a lot of chop and change at that club. So I think automatics, for me, is out of the question right now. But top 6, place.
I think, look, if you disagree, that's fair enough, guys. But look at the track record of relegated teams. Even if they've had a little points deduction, they tend to do well. Now, I think a points deduction will really damage Leicester's chances of top 2, but I still think the playoffs is very possible. QPR, Sophie, do we sling them in the middle?
Yeah.
They've got to be somewhere in the middle, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really make too much of an argument either way, to be honest. That's why I feel like they're going to be round about mid-table. I think they'll have bits of the season where you think, oh, they might finish in the top 6. Equally, they might have parts of the season where you think, oh, bottom 3. So, roundabout, averages out, middle.
Yeah, I think, I suppose it depends on the managerial situation. Cifuentes, obviously, that's an ongoing saga. They are linked with Thorpe, the Norwich boss from last season. Derby, mid-table.
Possibly.
And I tell you what, maybe even a push for the top half with John Eustace. I'm tempted to sneak them into 12th.
No, don't do that.
No?
No, because look at the other teams we've got there.
All right, well,
stick them mid-table for now.
13th. We'll have them 13th, but I think they could sneak in the top half.
Do you think?
What? Why not? I mean, John Eustace is a magician, isn't he? Look at the work he did at Derby. They were dead and buried. Look at the work he did at Blackburn. Brilliant, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I do think he is a good manager, but then, like, I don't know who they're going to bring in, to be honest. Maybe they've got a decent budget and they're going to attract some decent players, and then yeah, you never know, they could be pushing up that table. But right now, mid-table max.
Right, Sheffield Wednesday.
I don't know, this is a tricky one again because Danny Rowley is desperate for his move out of there. We don't know who's going to be the manager come start of the season. Also, player-wise, I don't know. I'm not having them to go down though.
See, Sophie,
You think they will?
But you know I like Sheffield Wednesday, so
Yeah.
I'm not doing this to be horrible. I love me a bit of Sheffield Wednesday. I love you, Wednesday. However, I don't like chaos. And I look at Sheffield Wednesday, and what I've got to try and do, Sophie, is look at this from a player's perspective that they're trying to sign. Do you want to go to Sheffield Wednesday, where they're going to pay you late, where the manager doesn't want to be there? Think of all these things that the fan base are against the owner. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Huge club with the right owner. This would be a Premier League club. But I don't like what I'm seeing, and I think they could be in serious trouble.
Okay, I mean...
But what's your thoughts?
I think they'd just stay up, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know who they'd get in to replace the manager. There obviously is a lot of off the field issues going on, but...
So we need to... I mean,
I don't know, it could go either way, though.
If we put them there, right?
Yeah, who am I then putting down?
We need to relegate one of these.
Oxford or Stoke, maybe.
Oh, really? So you think Wednesday survive?
Possibly. Like, leave it late kind of thing. I think it could be like another dramatic
This
finish.
is horrible.
I know.
So you...
Okay, do you know what? If you want Wednesday in the bottom three for now, put them there because we don't know what's going on with the manager and things like that. But have them in front of Hull. I don't want them rock bottom.
You will not have that.
No, I won't.
All right, Sheffield Wednesday fans, do share your thoughts. We don't want you to go down, of course. Southampton, top six.
Top six, surely.
I think top three. It'll be like you said earlier. It'll be between these three.
Second.
Will Stills come in? Do you know how old he is?
Like 35.
He's
something like that?
32.
Yeah, close.
He's so young for a manager, but it worked before when they had Russell Martin. So they've got the resources. Obviously, they might need to sell one or two players, but they'll have money to spend.
Reinvest. Yeah, I just feel like they will be pretty solid. I know he's not done it in English football at all, I don't think, and he is very young, but I think he could do a good job, to be honest. And he's got a decent squad at the moment. I know there will be a few outgoings, but as you say, I think they could be a few good incomings, and I feel like they produced like a few decent academy players as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2, 3 for the main.
Yeah, I think top three. That looks good. Sophie, let's talk about the greatest team in English football. It's Coventry City next. I think we might finish fifth again.
Yeah, I think top six it should be, to be honest.
Now, it's going to be difficult. I don't want to take this for granted because it's a hard league, but I do trust Coventry in making playoffs. What I don't necessarily trust yet is
winning them.
Winning the playoffs, but making top two as well, because we always start slow. If Doug King backs Frank Lampard, which I think he will, then I think we're in the playoff mix. And I tell you what, Sophie, this would mean Leicester versus Coventry in the playoff semi-finals.
Yeah, that'd just be absolutely crazy, to be honest. I don't want that to happen. I don't think I'd ever recover from that if they were to beat us. But I feel like if Frank has a full season, pre-season, full summer transfer window, he's got a pretty good squad as well. We don't know who's going out and who he can bring in. I would like to see a few more loan signings, to be honest, this season, because we got through last season with 0, and I'd like to think he could attract some decent young players. So I think top six should be, to be honest.
Okay,
Frank.
There's still one playoff position up for grabs here, and let's talk about Wrexham first.
Right.
I think they'll chase for the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying with any certainty that Wrexham make the playoffs, but I think they will chase for the playoffs.
Well, anyone can chase for the playoffs, can't they?
Not everyone necessarily. I don't think Charlton Athletic will be chasing for the playoffs, or
we don't know,
or Oxford United. Anyway, Wrexham, Sophie, very incredible story. Yes, they've been backed, but I think their transfer strategy is always quite good. They will sign quite a lot of experience, I think.
They're linked with a lot of
players.
Yeah, older experienced players that are going to be on a lot of money, so it could go either way, really, couldn't it?
I think, playoff race. I'm thinking top 10.
Top 10? For me, mid-table, to be honest. I am looking at that squad at the moment, and I think they do need to invest in it, because right now I don't think it's strong enough to be competing, especially not for top 10. So if they can, which I do think there will be a bit of a pull there, to be honest, with like who the owners are and this whole story where you've invested a lot of money. Maybe that's a little bit harsh, but it's how I feel. So if they do invest, which I think they will, possibly, as you say, top 10, but right now for me, mid-table.
All right, let's meet in the middle. I said top 10, you said mid-table. Let's say top 12.
There wasn't a top 10 category, so it's always going to be top 12.
No, but I had them at the higher end of top 12. Let's have them, let's put them here.
Who are we moving then?
Let's put them there. And I'm sorry, Swansea.
Sorry, Swansea.
So Wrexham, are they the biggest team in Wales now?
Depends where they finish this season.
Yeah. I do like Wrexham's chances to do something pretty special next season. Bristol City, Sophie. Now, I am a bit unsure because of Manning going.
Yeah.
Now, if Manning stays, or if Manning goes and they get a good manager like Rob Edwards, let's say,
top 6,
then maybe they could push for the top 6.
Yeah.
However, I wonder if they might just regress 1 or 2 places. And I don't know. I mean, who's going to finish in the playoffs?
I don't know.
This is quite open. Now, genuinely, out of those teams here, which one do you think is going to make it? If this is how it plays out, who do you think is most likely to make it?
I mean, the playoff race last season was dreadful, wasn't it? For 5th and 6th, like, no one wanted it. That's including our team. I'm not just slagging off other teams. No one really wanted it at the end. So then it meant that Coventry and Bristol City got it. Do I think they could do it again? It's tricky because their manager situation right now, we don't know who they're going to bring in, and maybe they will keep Manning. I don't think so. I think he's going to Norwich. So you want Birmingham in there, I know you do.
Come on, Sophie. Join the dark side.
I don't know if I can, because top 6, Matt, that's a massive
right,
job.
Sophie, what did Ipswich do when they first came up from League One? They got top 2. And they didn't even get half as many points. Well, they did get half as many points as Birmingham, but they didn't get over 100, is what I'm trying to say.
That's a fair point.
I think momentum is such a big thing. When a team comes up, when they've won so many games,
yeah.
And I'm not saying they're going to win the league, but I think the playoffs is possible. But like I say, I want you to agree with me.
Then, because it's joint, I'll let you have that.
Oh, go on.
Doesn't mean they're finishing there in my table.
Well, we'll be doing our individual tables at the end of the summer. But there you go, guys. Sophie, final thoughts. Is that a decent table?
I think it's a decent championship lineup, to be honest. I think we're going to get some stick, and rightly so. But if you're going to give a stick, plead your case and tell us why you're giving a stick for whichever team.
Yeah.
But right now, I think that's, for considering how early it is, I think that's pretty decent. As
well, actually, guys, if you want to give us stick, then put your predictions down there and we'll give you stick. Because I tell you what, it's difficult. It's too easy to just say, well, my team should be higher. You've got to think about.
Plead your case.
You've got to think about which teams are then going to be lower.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you anyway. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you've dropped a like and subscribed. Like I said, let's go for 3,000 likes. We've got our early Premier League predictions coming, I think, on Wednesday. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all in the next one. Peace out.